go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's get it. What's going on? We are live. We are back up in the building. What is going on for everybody that is watching? Please subscribe to this channel right here. It's been a long time coming. We were fly in the summertime, took a little bit of a break on this YouTube thing. We started a whole brand new channel. So please subscribe, like this. And also give me a 1 in the chat if you can hear it. If you're watching this live, give me a 1. If you're watching this on replay, put on replay right here. And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. So what's going on? My name is Mark. For everybody that don't know me, I'm just sending out these actual reminders to folks, letting them know that I'm on here and I'm actually going live. So today's topic we're going to be talking about is really struggling and talking about life elevation and how to really build ourselves up and how to rise to the occasion and how to really get back into the certain type of mindsets that we were once on. So many times when we're dealing with information, so much information comes across, but it doesn't always resonate because you are bombarded. There's so much things that are going on. You watch social media, there's a lot of information, there's pain, there's things that affect you, there's certain things that don't. I'm here to kind of really chop things up and put things in their proper perspective when it comes to this thing called life and also your body. Your body is a temple. We got to definitely make sure that we put everything in its proper perspective. You know what I'm saying? The science of life and elevation is all about making sure that you are not dealing with things that are on the surface. Today I was doing a call and I was actually, it's funny because I was talking to our team and I was coaching our team because, for those that don't know me, I have 2 gym locations and I also, we have something online as well called Supreme Body University. But I was talking to our team and I was letting them know that, when you are talking to people and you're trying to find out what their goals are, don't be robotic when it comes to learning people's goals because people can see that and people will just treat you like a regular number. Like if you call your doctor's office, you're talking to the receptionist and she's like, yeah, what's going on? And then she's all talking loud and stuff like, don't you hate when they talk like that? When I go to the doctor's office and they be like, what are you here for? In a waiting room and just be a whole bunch of people that's in there. I'm like, God, why are you talking? Why are you asking questions so loud? You know what I'm saying? It's important to not do things so scripted. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's good to have empathy. But anyway, I want to talk about life. I want to talk about elevation and I want to talk about, getting you on to what's important because right now we are doing a lot of we're getting ready for the summertime and we're doing a lot of things. It's going to be a lot of activities. It's going to be hot. It's going to be a lot of people that are going to need help. And you are also going to need to know exactly all the steps that we're doing out here. And it's important to just in general be able to figure out what's good, what's not good, and what is healthy for you and what's not. But anyway, so we're starting this thing up and we're talking about life. We're talking about elevation. Now, why is that important? Because before we get into real elevation, we have to deal with what's reality. right? And we got to deal with where you are. And a lot of times I talk about how to deal with that. That's past, present, and future. So when you know your past, then you understand that whatever trauma or something that happened that was serious, we know how to deal with that, right? We either address it, meaning we get closure from the person or people or group or whatever that did what they did so we can get closure, or we talk to a therapist, right? We talk to somebody that's professional that can basically walk us through and help us through whatever trauma there is, because you have big trauma, you have small trauma, and you have different traumas that affect different people. So what is going on with my camera? Can you guys see me? I don't know what's going on, but I just had to switch the camera. So you have little trauma, you have big trauma, you got medium-sized trauma. Everybody got different type of trauma. You know what I'm saying? And nobody's trauma is better than the next person's trauma. So what I mean by that is we got to definitely work on getting you, you know what I'm saying, the help that you need. Because when we talk about trauma, that is something that definitely affects us in life, and we have to do better and we have to elevate. And how we elevate through that trauma is by, being in elevation, being higher than our higher selves, trying to work on, inventing and being our better versions of ourselves. When we talk about present, that's still, us getting getting to an ascension place where we can get higher and we can work on, really, figuring out how we can do better in life just in general. Because when you look at what that is, it's all about, you know, uh, helping our better self. And the present state of mind is like day to day. You know what I'm saying? Animals deal with day to day. They're dwelling in a place, they're looking for a place to live. They're looking for food, literally food, clothing, shelter. That's the present, right? That's just dealing in the present state of mind. But when you talk about the future is like, man, we're thinking about what we can do to elevate our future. We're talking about bank accounts. We're talking about how we can elevate. How we talk about Roth IRA. We talk about retirement. We talk about, really doing things that are going to help us and elevate. So that's what it's all about. It's about making sure that we're on the right type of path, and that's really the science that's behind that. Um, I'm talking about really rising out of the inside out. Also, when we talk about getting from the present to the future, normally for me, it's like teamwork. You know what I'm saying? And one of the good things of me having a wife is I have the ability to elevate higher. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have your significant other, you guys are both now a team. You know what I'm saying? And that's not saying that you gotta, if you're single, you can't elevate. I'm not saying that at all. But it's also good to have the people in your life, because we don't want to be alone. But if we are, then we have a lot more work to do, as opposed to someone else that can also walk you through this thing called life as well. You know what I'm saying? So it's like all systems that are really rising. You got mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. I'm here to help you on a physical level, elevate by working out and exercising, because when you work out and you exercise, you feel a lot better. You are releasing dopamine chemicals, toxins, and you're able to really elevate. So before we get into real elevation, I really want to deal with like what reality is, because you might be listening to this looking through some sort of breakthrough, right? And you might be tired of being tired, right? Tired of starting over for whatever it is. It can be, it's not just weight loss. I'm not just talking about exercising and things like that, but really tired of starting over. A lot of times we are starting over in our career, we're starting over in our relationships, and we just don't have the energy to do that. What are you tired of? Put that inside of the comments. What are some of the things that you feel like you are tired of, right? You could be tired of setting goals and not really reaching them. You could be trying to get a promotion and not hit those promotions. What are some of your bottlenecks? What are some of the things that are holding you back within that road, right? You could be tired of looking in the mirror and not really recognizing the person that's staring back at you, because you may see something, and only you can be the judge of who you see when you look back at yourself. You could be tired of fighting silent battles with no one checking in on you. That's happened to me, right? Even when you're with somebody else, you may have little inner things that's going on within yourself, but it's always good to talk, right? You may be tired of smiling in public and suffering in private. Everybody around you thinking that everything is all right, but you feeling like everything is not all right. You may be tired of being strong for everyone else, but falling apart when you're alone. So if you feel like you're tired, that's definitely something we got to work on, right? And if that real weight that you're carrying isn't around your waist, but in your mind, listen, you're in. So we have to talk about the emotional aspect. And also, we have to talk about how that healing doesn't start in your body until it starts within your mind, because we've been programmed to chase results. We want to lose 20 pounds. We want to get a flat stomach. We want to build a dream body, post it, prove it, and compare it and show it, share it, like it. We're putting all those things and all those influence in. But what about the mind? What about the mind? What about your focus mindset? What about disciplining your mindset? Nobody talks about those things. We want instant physical gratification, but we're not seeing the actual results in front of our minds. And that right there, you can see people that have the best bodies in the world, but they still not happy. And if you're not attacking and figuring out what's going on in your mind, then what else do we have right now? It's funny because I want to do this a little bit early. I want to hit this before my 4 p.m. classes in both of my locations. I have a 4 p.m. and a 5 p.m. right now. And it's funny because I just sent this out to some of my clients, and I'm looking in the parking lot because I could see both of my locations and I could see people pulled up, but people are not walking into the actual gym. Get out, open the door, and you can always watch this on replay. You don't have to you don't have to watch me live right now. I promise. I'm going to do this a little bit earlier. And yeah, people are messaging me, look, you have to we got to come up with a good time that works. I was trying to figure out if I want to do it at 8 o'clock at nighttime, but I'm putting my kids down. And sometimes I may feel like I'm too tired to do it. Then I was thinking about doing it early morning, but I'm like, is people going to be really up at that time? Then I was thinking about doing it at lunchtime. And I'm like, I may be able to get some people during lunch. I may not be able to get some people at lunch. And I was like, you know what? Why not just try to do it around 3 when people are getting off of work? Right? So I don't know, man. And I got to do what's convenient for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's important to get everybody on the same page and really, just knowing what they need to do. It's important. So look, when it comes to this exercise, it's not just really figuring out what you're doing, but it's also trying to figure out what your past is doing, meaning your past in order to figure out your future. I was talking to a good friend of mine that said they don't really like history. I feel like history teaches us from other people's mistakes. I've always been the type of person to learn from someone else's mistake. I never, ever, ever doubt any type of history. And yeah, history basically gives you the best way of learning, because when you are learning from other people's mistakes, then you can figure out how you can be better. So yeah, when it comes to exercising, we're definitely going to do this thing called life. And for everybody that has subscribed, I see some people that have subscribed. Thank you very much. Very important that we jump on this thing. I'm actually still sending out this link while I'm talking. And you know me, I got a little good ADD, so it's all good. Um, it's important for us to know what we need to do when it comes to getting into the mindset, because when you're building, your mind has to go deeper, right? And there's a reason we call life elevation, right? Because most people are living real low in their vibratory frequency, and they're operating in that survival mode. That's that present state of mind. And you also most start running on autopilot. You get up, you go to work, you come home, you take care of your family, you cook, and then you go to sleep, and then you get back up, and then you do the same thing, right? You're reacting instead of really responding. Mostly all the time, I'm getting people that are constantly in the reactive stage, and that's how they want you in it. Basically, they want you in the reactive stage. When I mean they, I mean the people that are enemies against you. They want you to be constantly in a reactive stage. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're in a reactive stage, they can control you better. You can be controlled when you're in a reactive stage. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to be in a reactive stage, because when you're there, reactive stage is nothing but pain and suffering. You're only focusing on pain. That's all reactive stage is. So when you're in that reactive stage, you're seeing a dentist, they're giving you some sort of medication. When you're seeing a doctor, you're in the reactive stage. They're helping you, or claiming they're helping you with something. For me, I want to be proactive. But the problem is, when you deal with people trying to be proactive, you constantly are going to run into people that are going to, unfortunately, be um, not susceptible to everything you're saying because their emotions are not into it. What I mean by that is like, if I go to the doctor and I feel like my heart is hurting, they're going to monitor, they're going to send EKG, they're going to do labs, they're going to do all different types of things. They're going to send out this, they're going to send out that. But if I have a person go into the gym and I'm like, hey, we're going to exercise because, exercise is a good way to lose weight. Exercise is a good way to have good cardiovascular endurance. Nobody's really giving that much more of thought. And that's the problem, because we're not necessarily dealing with like, oh, let me do this so that I don't be in this bad situation right here. That's the problem right there. We got to do better when it comes to this thing called life, because when we're exercising, we're in a proactive stage. We're taking steps so that we can better ourselves, and I want you guys to better yourselves. So anyway, for those that are coming in, I want to let you know that we are, talking about elevation. We're talking about life elevation. I mean, we're talking about getting ourselves to the next level. It's important for us to know these things, because when it comes to being better and really just dealing with ourselves on a whole more positive level, we're going to see that it's important to just get into that mindset, because mindset is a very, very powerful thing. So I want you guys to know and understand that we need to do better. And if you feel like there's something that you need to, respond to, put it inside of the comment. Leave a comment. I got people that are watching on there. I'm sending out these links. So I definitely want you to drop in on there. I want you to see what we're talking about. And I want you guys to jump in, and chime in and let me know what you're thinking, because it's important to really get this thing underway. Man, listen, we had a lot of subscribers before we were killing it, and then boom, I got an email one day from these guys like, oh no, it's a long, long story, long road, but what I'm saying, we're back, and we're able to elevate against that, and we're gonna do better. What I'm saying. Anyway, so let's move on. Okay, that life elevation, like I said, we got to get ourselves from running on that autopilot, and we got to get ourselves from being in a reactive stage, right? And you can't really elevate when you feel like your mind is overstimulated and undernourished. Some people say the soul right? It's overstimulated and undernourished. Like you feel like you need something. So this is like the first shift. It's not really external, but it's internal. I can't, man, listen, when I sit down with a person and I go through their whole thing through an assessment that we do for 1 hour, and they say something to me, I'll veer off because it's not really about them wanting to work out and exercise. It's because they're trying to figure out a pain that's deep inside of them. You may be going through a divorce. I've helped people go through divorces. I've helped people stop their divorce, right? I've helped people, really figure out what was wrong inside. And there's so many different factors, you know what I'm saying? And it's really boils down to clarity, alignment, and mental freedom. Freedom allows you a lot of different choices, and we have to have choices. You know what I'm saying? Today's date is the 13th. So today's mathematics is knowledge, understanding, right? Number one is knowledge. What is knowledge? Knowledge is the foundation. Foundation, meaning what you set yourself up for, how much books, how much mental, right? Currency you put into your brain, right? Knowledge represents the foundation. Understanding is the mental, clear picture. You know what I'm saying? That one sees. And when you put them together, you have mastery. You got mastery because when you're able to master what is in front of you, your day to day, right? You are in elevation. You can't master what you don't understand. So knowledge, many of the times, people are running things by you. I'm talking about doctors again, but if you have an illness and it's something that's foreign to you, and they're just telling you, "Hey, I'm sorry about to break this news, man. You're at this, you have this, you have that," or say we're gonna give you this or X, Y. Like you're now in a reactive stage. You are really scared. You don't know what to do, and that sucks. But I want to tell you something. You don't have to fall for that. You do not have to be a victim of someone else's idea, someone else's ideology, someone else's philosophy. Because even people that deal with even the medical industry, they don't know what they know, right? They're a doctor. Look, 54% of medical professionals are overweight. This is watermelon juice. And when I tell you it's good, my mother-in-law, shout out to Mama Hill, went out and bought these big old seeded watermelons. Man, when I told you she came through, yes, we've been juicing them and we've been getting this watermelon juice in. Look, if for those that know me, they know I'm juicing. You guys got to be juicing, juice all day long. But back to what I was saying, when it comes to mastery, you have to master yourself. A lot of doctors, they're not, a lot of them are out of shape. When you look at the warriors back in the day, warriors basically were strong. Warriors were the ones that would protect the village, right? And then you had the ones that would heal, the healers and stuff. They weren't really much in shape. Their bodies weren't really about. We exercised and we did all those tough, vigorous things. Why? Because we had to be prepared for battle. We had to. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So battle basically is what prepares one. So that's what we were doing. We were getting into a field of constantly trying to make sure that we could, eliminate the enemy if need be. So that's what we need to do. So when it comes to exercise, that is what we're fighting for. When you go into the gym, you may see some people in there that's muscle bound. Those are the warriors. Those are the ones that have been, fighting, you know what I'm saying, for something that they felt. That's why we have military. Then you have some other people that are fishermen and goat herders and builders, right? And teachers and noblemen, you know what I'm saying? But their bodies are not where it is discipline. You can always tell a person by their undisciplined body. You got to be disciplined. And discipline starts here. The discipline starts here. Discipline starts here because your stomach is actually your first brain. That gut is literally your first brain. And that we'll save that for another video if you guys want that. But listen to me. When it comes to life, when it comes to elevation, we're going to start learning our routines. We're going to know our roles. You need to know your responsibility when it comes to your physical state, your mental state, emotional state, and spiritual state. Really got to know those things, and you got to know your triggers. What you don't know can't really hurt you, but in a way it could, because it's self-sabotage. Because if you don't know something, right, you could be ignorant to it, but consistently you can be self-sabotaging yourself once you know that this is something wrong and you're not supposed to do it. You can literally self-sabotage yourself, and I don't want you to do that. So it's very, very important that we get the help that we need in order to elevate and be just better in life, just be better people. And we know what we need to do in order to get to our goals. And that's what it is, right? So the structure, right? And I want to be really, really clear. You don't change your life by accident, right? You change it through intention, you change it through structure, right? You change it through mastering that invisible battles that nobody claps for, like a tree, right? Everybody looks at this beautiful, majestic tree, but nobody looks at the roots, because you can't see the roots. You can't see the roots. You see the tree growing by its branches at the top, but nobody see the roots that are hard at work planting itself to the ground so this tree does not fall over. Many of us have weak roots and we're just falling over. Timber. I'm not saying that life don't come by and start chopping away at the tree. There's many different factors of that. Things happen, you know what I'm saying, to the tree. Many things. But you got to make yourself strong, and you got to be structured in what it is that you do. That's real elevation, and that's how you really master, right? And like I said, elevation is not cute. It's not pretty. It's not something that, that you can see in the ground while it's growing. That tree, it's going through some dirt, it's going through some soil, it's getting dirty. It's getting under there. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely. And you may be right next to somebody that you love, but you have to be uncomfortable. And sometimes your burden shouldn't always be somebody else's burden. Being uncomfortable and elevating is about the moment you sit down to yourself and you say, I'm done living below my own standard. Also, I'm done with making excuses, and I'm done shrinking to fit people who are not even growing. Because sometimes we are around people and they're not growing, they're not elevating, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. When the body rises into higher altitudes and it's forced to adapt, that air becomes thinner. When I say elevation, if you're climbing a mountain top, right? That body goes higher. The air is thin, right? The oxygen is limited and it's hard to breathe. You can't breathe the same way you used to. You know what I'm saying? You have to slow it down, be present, and you have to take deeper breaths, because that oxygen can make you faint. Lack of oxygen can make you faint. And at first, you may feel headaches, you may feel fatigue, but sometimes, listen to what I'm saying. I'm talking about elevation. I'm talking about going to a place, a little place higher. Up in the mountaintop, we call success. Up where we call life. Sometimes it's harder to breathe. Do you hear what I'm saying? You're not going to be comfortable with going up to the top. When they go out of space, they got to get rockets and they have to propel them, and they got to get rockets that can boost them outside of the atmosphere. It hurts. But understand that over time, your lungs will expand and you'll be able to breathe more efficient and be more resilient and be more stronger and be able to adapt to that higher elevation, that environment. And sometimes the people that you're trying to bring along, they may be loud noises and they be trying to talk you down, and they are like, hey, it's too high up there, I can't breathe. You be like, man, listen, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna go up there. There's a lot of people that I personally have had to leave because they were not a part of my elevation. Plenty of people that call me and I don't answer. Some people are just not going to be with you, and that's okay. One thing I learned about my mom is that she's quick to cut somebody off. And I adapted to that same exact mentality. If you are not a person for me, if you're not my person, I'm out of here. You got to be contributing to me. That means when I have a conversation with you, I need to be walking away from something brand new. We need to be elevated. We need to be motivated. We can't just stay staggered. I hate talking to people and it's just doom and gloom, negativity. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. So, look, when it comes to exercise and when it comes to the mental exercising, we got to get out of our situations. You can't fake it. You can't rent it. You can't download it. You have to build it. Elevation is a mindset first and foremost. And this is done through daily discipline, daily repetition, through silence, not talking all the time, just figuring things out, going through things on your own. I felt sick about this channel. Not this one in particular, but my other one. I grew it. I had thousands of subscribers and I was getting checks, little bit of checks. And I said, man, but then I got caught up in life with the business and certain things like that. But and people would always often say, "Hey, when are you coming back? When are you gonna go live? When are you gonna go on there?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, But for real, I had to suffer. I had to go through some things in silence. My wife was there to help me. Walk through some things and give me some ideas, but you're still trapped in your thoughts, and your burden shouldn't always be other people. So I had to take courage and I had to say, look, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to this and I'm going to do this thing right. And I'm going to do this thing right. And this is why you guys should be watching. You guys should be following. You guys should be subscribing to this channel because we're going to be talking about elevation. We're going to be we're going to be going through things higher. And yeah, that's what it's all about. Everything is connected, right? I want to talk about the connection of things because we disassociate certain things when things are really connected. That juice is so good. Everything is connected. You fix the mind and your cravings will change also. You fix your thoughts and your fatigues will lift. You detox and you become more focused, and then your body will follow. Detoxing is a very fancy word. Everybody uses that word now. People show juicing and you show detoxing, right? We know that there's astringent fruits that pull from your cells. That's the physical way of detoxing your cells, right? Lemon, lime, that's astringent fruit. So that detoxifies, that pulls acid, that pulls from your cells, that pulls bad bacteria, that pulls from the cells. Oranges, pineapples, apples, those are astringent fruits. Grapes, those are astringent fruits. But what are some of the mental things that you have to do also? What are the astringent mental fruits that you have to do in order to pull from your mind, right? Those are some of the things that you have to think about. What is your fruit? What is your go-to? That means you got to think about that. You have to think, and I challenge you to tell me, put it in this thought, put it right in there in this comment. What are some of the things that you have to do that can pull the negative things from your life? And once you know that, man, one of my things is seeking seclusion from others to reach self-atonement. That's a good way. That's a good way for me to basically remove myself and get into a different type of, elevation. Removing the excuses. You can't elevate with excuses that are in your back pocket. That just right there, you can just pull out. Boom. People give me excuses all the time. Oh, I don't know if I have enough time. I don't know if my spouse has this, or I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know. It's a bunch of excuses. But guess what? You know who don't have excuses? That doctor, when he's trying to hack you and operate on you, or when you get to a certain age, they're talking about they have to amputate your foot. There's over 100,000 amputations of feet every single year, and that can be avoided through better eating. That could be avoided. So we have to understand that we have to elevate to for you, right? You have to make these decisions that match your future for the things that you say that you want. Not the old you, not the wounded you, not the past, not the emotional you, the elevated you. That means your morning routines change. You go to sleep a little bit earlier so you can wake up and you can do your thing. Your circle has to shift. Your conversations need to be more mature. Your habits have to be sharpened. And yeah, some people will have to fall off, like I said, because some people won't get it. They'll say you've changed. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you're crazy. I've been told I was crazy a couple of times. They'll try to bring you back down to their level by trying to argue with you and cause confusion. But you're not here to make people comfortable. You're here to rise. You're here to elevate. You're here to breathe in a different type of space. That space may be higher and may be uncomfortable, because when you're climbing to that mountaintop, yes, that is a very uncomfortable space. But to build something higher, you have to be higher, right? To lead your family different, you have to be higher. To show your kids what it looks like to transform from the inside out. So that's what it's all about. You got to be higher. You got to be at an elevation. So let me say this, right? You're born really not born to be average. You're not born to live life on a low playing field, low side. You were built to elevate. You were built to be a master. You weren't built to be mastered. You were built to master your life. You were built to breathe, to eat good food, mental food, not just food we eat, but mental food. And that's what it's all about. So I want to thank everybody for watching this video, this live. I'm so happy to be back. Definitely subscribe to this channel if you have not already. And tap the bell so that you can get these notifications when they basically come on. I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to work on being consistent with me.